everyone. Hello and welcome to the session of College Gumo. And I'm Mahima Ma'am from EduSure. And today we have with us Amrita Bhattacharya from the Symbiosis School of Economics. Amrita is a budding economist. She's done her graduation from Scottish Church College. Now she's doing her master's from SSE. And she's here to tell us about this college, which little is known and little is understood. So let's hear about her experience and how has been her journey at this college. Hi, Amrita. Welcome to our session today.
Hello, ma'am.
All right. So, Amrita, let's start by getting some background on SSE. Can you tell us how old is this institute? What's the vintage?
Yeah, okay. So, Symbiosis School of Economics, it was established in 2008, and it started off with its bachelor's 3-year undergraduate degree first. Yeah. After that, after functioning for 3 years in 2011, they started with their master's program as well. Initially, the master's program was only having 2 specializations, urban development and development studies, and they gradually incorporated finance and international trade as well. So right now, what we have right now in 2022, it has been 11 years since the MSc program was started. We have 4 specializations. And even if they had founded the college not many years back, there has been a stress always on placements. Like we have better placements from the bachelor's batch more than we do, the masters. So that has always been there. So, yeah.
All right. So what are the 4 specializations? Just one second. Oh God, Saturdays are crazy. Anyways, sorry. Let's talk about the 4 specializations that they now offer. You said that earlier they did development economics and one more. So what are the 4 offerings that they have now?
Okay, so right now, the batch expects every year a student strength of 80, 85. And they are equally divided into 4 specializations according to their interest and also the merit. So the 4 specializations offered currently are urban development, development studies, finance, and international trade. Finance was the latest one added some years back, not very new, because Symbiosis having their management connections and the B School flagship programs, it's very easy for them to get good faculty and practitioners in this field. So that is how the finance specialization was incorporated. And the finance course is really not very economics oriented, I feel. It's something between what you learn, if you're doing an MBA finance, something you're studying CA. So it's very competitive, and it's not, I would say it's not financial economics as such. They do a lot of things that are not falling under the financial portion of economics or the monetary finance markets we study in economics. So it's very comprehensive that way.
Okay, so you are doing, have you taken the finance specialization?
No, I did urban development.
You did urban development. So how do students get assigned to these specializations? Do they have to choose it before they take admission, or is it later that they are segregated? Because you said there are limited seats. So what if, from a batch, more people are interested in finance, let's say?
Yeah, so that always has happened because there is this conviction that everyone believes in, that, if you study finance, you would get better placements.
Yeah.
And I really do not support that, because firstly, the companies that come to our placements in college, they cater to the job roles and the positions, the description, all thinking of the same batch. It's like from Symbi, there are companies affiliated who will be taking finance students from their MBA branches and also from us. And at that time, we do not feel as competent as them to, grab that job offer, because MBA in finance is more rigorous. It's understood. Here we have our specializations for only the third and fourth semester, like in the last year. Until before that, we have to cover every foundational economics course that we've known, for all of it, like micro, macro, everything extends, public economics, everything extends, and it becomes a huge thing. So the whole first year you study the economics well, and then you're assigned to the specialization, and a 1 year finance and an 18-month or 24 months finance in MBA. It is not equal. I cannot just say that. Also, you cannot compare the rigor that the CFA and CA students or MIM students they have, because they have studied finance.
Yeah.
So that is a disadvantage if you're competing from, within the MBA students. They are always at a better stand compared to getting jobs in the finance sector. Also, one thing that if someone takes up finance, what is that they get a lot of practical knowledge which has a market value even now. So they can
Amrita,
go.
just 1 second.
Yeah. So like I was telling, even if you are not getting to compete with the same companies and positions that come for campus placements in Symbiosis as a whole, you still have the advantage of getting the practical knowledge and applying off campus. But that doesn't inhibit students from other specializations to also target such jobs in finance and marketing. That's what we like how we divide it. Firstly, we are given preferences to choose from. Three preferences, the first, second, third, in decreasing order, where we want to specialize in. So based on that, on given they give a count and assess that there is equal distribution of students at par in all the specializations, they do assign it as we have chosen our specializations accordingly. But if like there is a huge count in finance or IT or development or urban development, where let's say 40-50 people are opting for the same specialization and they do not want to accommodate there, right? So after if such a situation happens, we are to write SOPs to give our insights why we want to take that specialization. And also we are assessed in an MCQ evaluation, or maybe a written test of some kind. Also there are interviews that their panel is hired by Symbiosis School of Economics, external interviewers who are not related to the faculty, and they interview us. And after all this, there is the screening happens, that if a student is going to be assigned that specialization they want to take or not. Like the situation has been that everyone wants to, like, initially they think that finance is like the only one that will help you, and international trade is also the other one. Is they have a big market value, which is not true. All of them have market value. So what happens, there's a huge rush of students every year who want to take finance and IT, and these two specializations, because they get overburdened. So all the students whoever apply, they have to write SOPs, give interviews, take the tests and all. And after that, if they're found fit, they're giving their specialization, else not. So that is how it works. But we have this opportunity that even if we are in different specializations, the placements are not restricted to a definite specialization. Everyone can apply for the companies and the roles, given they are uh, meritorious enough and they hold the competencies required. So it's not a big deal where you are getting assigned or which specialization you're taking up. Always, what I believe, it helps if you are doing it something that is related to your domain or field of study, though. but it doesn't prohibit you from sitting for placements when companies come in.
So
So
when you talk about placements, you are saying that irrespective of your specialization, everybody ends up with the similar package, similar placement. So there has been examples of people from, let's say, urban development who are ending up with a finance role, or
yeah,
a person with finance is ending up with another role. So
right.
there is cross matching of profiles
Yeah.
depending on just how good the candidate is, irrespective of what they've done their specialization in. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, but there's the thing. Even if we are studying finance, it is having a lot of avenues. There's corporate finance, there is financial
Just
modeling.
1 second. Yeah, so sorry. These people
No,
are just
no,
continuously making noise and it's really bugging me.
no, it's okay. Yeah, so I was telling, even if like someone takes up finance, there are a lot of areas in which they will be dealing with. There's corporate finance, there's market research, there's financial modeling planning. One very well sought after course that Symbiosis provides in its module under finance is the security and risk management. So all these things, they are divided under different sections. So even if I talk about urban development, like I am experiencing myself, such a lot is there in urban development that deals with finance, be it municipal finance, be it the finance commission related issues or stuff happening at the central and the state levels, where you need economic planners to talk about, to cater to the needs of the cities and the towns. So similarly, even in development studies, there are areas which are dealt with finance. Like development is very rigorous, it's very mathy, and it's all about data. Though it's like sounding not so mathy, development is actually where you deal with all the macro indicators, micro indicators, do a study, everything is there in the development studies, be it capability approach or upliftment of the society, all of it. So what I believe is that under all these specializations, we have specific roles that we can choose from. Like, for example, we have alumni from Symbiosis School of Economics who didn't study finance, who were there in the urban development, and they are getting roles in the MNCs and corporates as sustainability analysts, ESG analysts. ESG is the environmental sustainable governance, social governance that we have, and it deals with the checking up on the carbon footing of the company and their emissions, and it's environmental related, but it's also finance. It relates to costs and auditing. So like this, we have roles even if we are not doing core finance that we actually have to work in. They need us. So likewise, even finance people, they can choose MNCs, corporates, or they can also choose government or think tanks to work in, because they also have a lot to deal with finance. So that is how it happens. Like, yeah, what I believe, it's everywhere right now. Graduate in economics, they're getting fresher jobs in 2022 mostly as analysts or market researchers. That is everywhere. But the role and specifically the domain that they will be targeting, that should have some credibility with what you have worked on, what I feel. So that is how it goes on. So that's why our college doesn't restrict that you do not get to apply to a certain role because you are not exactly dealing with that role in the broader sense. It's like how you can connect that to what you have studied, or do you think fit that you are fit to be assigned that job role. That's how it happens. And anyway, or every like company that comes in, it's like we have to sit for the tests that happen, the tests, and based on that, if we are shortlisted, we will be called for interview and thereby. So it's like that. So yeah, there is no such problem if we don't get finance or IT. IT, I feel that's another puzzle. someone is studying trade, international trade in MSc, how many trade councils do you have or chambers do you have to actually work on? Trade happens at an international level. You can have competition councils or chamber of commerces, that is okay. But to get a proper trade area where you are actually working on what is happening between companies, it's not so easy. Also, they prefer people who have done international business studies more than who have studied trade and trade laws and all of that. So yes, so that's what I think. Trade is not like to build, I would say, rather, because you have to study a lot more and assign a lot of value to the domain you studied and practice it more to get into those areas. There are people who work with IMF and World Bank from our college, and it's not like they did it as soon as they graduated. They had to build a path. And I mean, a trade is not like that. If you study trade, you will be, given an appointment at these places. It's very tricky. That's what I feel.
Okay, Amrita, just 1 second. Okay, so even people who study trade or anything, are they getting placements from college? Like out of 80-85 batch strength that you're saying, how many are seeking placements in your estimation, and how many are actually getting placed? What are the average salaries that people are drawing?
Okay, so coming to placements, we are always given a choice to apply to a particular company or not. It's not a contract that a student just makes. We will apply for all the companies that are coming, or we will not apply.
That is there.
Yeah, so that is there. And generally, people opt for campus placements mostly, like let's say around 60, 70 out of this batch will sit for placements. And yes, it is generally, it has been happening this way, that generally whoever applies for placements or sits for placements, because they bring many companies, all of them get placed somewhere or the other. So it's not like they do not get placed. Some people who do not go for campus placements is because of other reasons. Some directly go for PhD. Some go for off-campus placements because they believe they have a different interest, or maybe the companies they want to work in will not be catered to by SSE. So they go out and apply. But mostly everyone gets placed by the time they graduate.
The college is closely involved in bringing companies like professors and, or they have a department where people do it, or is it just student run? Like a lot of colleges like DSE student run. So
we have a placement cell. I am a member of the placement cell. So we have a placement cell, and like right now, because I am a placement cell member, I find like there's a lot of effort into that approaching companies, tracking alumni, making connections, and it's like a hell lot of work there that you have to bring companies. But it is not only student assisted. Nothing in college is like only student body. Okay, we always have a director and faculty charge or placement coordinator. They are from the faculty itself, so they are always there to monitor. And it so happens, like I was talking about the internships. So internships from HDFC, ICICI, also Exim Bank, Export Import Bank India. All these didn't come from any flyer or career job opening we get from the pages. Our college, I mean, our placement coordinator, they actually made the efforts because of their connections with these institutions, and that's how the internships were assigned. Like the college got interns going to these places not because like we helped or there was any external opening. It happened in an internal channel. So this is there. But yeah, we are also encouraged to hunt down alumni and the people who are there, whoever is there, and reach out for the campusing. So that is always there.
And what are the average packages that you had last year, let's say?
Yeah, so even if like you are not suitable for a job and you're not almost getting a job, you will get something, like it's better than nothing. So it starts from 3 LPA, though the average stands at 5 to 7. Like that is the median range I'm talking about. There are packages higher than that, 10 and 11, but most of them fall under 5 to 7 or 8. Yeah, as freshers. So that's what.
Okay, so that's fine. Actually, that's not really bad because I said that it's fine because Symbiosis is not like really hard to get in. So if on average, you know,
Right.
you are able to secure that kind of a job, because I believe personally that it's more important to enter the job market. Once you're there, then it eventually
Right, right,
capabilities can
right.
always rise. So
And
it's
fresher jobs without experience, wherever I find, they require experience, 7 to 8 years, 5 years experience, and only then you get a particular range of salary. So it's very difficult to, get a very high package at one go. There are places, obviously, I will not comment that there aren't places, but mostly for fresher jobs, you shouldn't expect a very huge package because ultimately you don't have experience. That is how you're just beginning.
yeah. So I guess that's fine. Okay, so sounds good. I think the placements are pretty clear
Yeah.
about how they run. The batch strength is clear, and the degree is awarded by Symbiosis University, correct?
Right.
Okay, and how is it? Just tell us briefly how the campus. I mean, it's Symbiosis. Expect the campus to be nice, and do talk about the course curriculum, because as far as I know, you are very happy with the practical aspects of your course curriculum. So do let us all know about that also.
Okay, so I haven't been to college because of the pandemic, but from all the pictures and from every testimonial from my friends who have been to college, what I find it's really nice. We like last year we were moved into a new building. Like our batch will be having a new building. It was the School of Nursing for Women, the Symbiosis School of Nursing for Women that they renovated, and now our campus has shifted to that building. So it's a building. I don't know the floors exactly, but it's a centrally conditioned building, and it is housing both the BSc and the MSc. We have different batch timings to accommodate, but yeah. So the classrooms are really nice because we used to have hybrid classes. So they used to cater to offline students there and also at the same time teachers. So the classrooms are really spacious and well lit. We have a very good library. Yeah, coming to the library, our library is really very resourceful. Like we have access over it online, and not only that, our college provides subscriptions to mostly every kind of online repository that I have heard of, be it Taylor and Francis, JSTOR, be it EPW, SAGE research methods, all of it. Also, databases like CMI, CMI Pro, SIQ, and a lot more like Emerald. So, our college is very well equipped with these resources, which I find people from other places they do not get such accesses because it's all borne by the college. We are not doing anything. We're just given the login credentials. Also, be it Grammarly subscriptions or Turnitin. So it's a very sound. Also, Coursera and other like ed tech groups that we have there offering online courses. We have been given Data Camp, edX, and Coursera subscriptions as well. And people can choose from whatever they want to learn. And the college also kind of makes a chart that these are the courses that will benefit you, as in what is relevant for an economics MSc student. And you can choose from that or you can choose from other courses. It's all free. It's like not anything that you are, bearing, and it's given for a year. So, or maybe all throughout the course if you request them. So that way it's very nice. Also, like I told about the library, the in-house, I mean, collection, that is also very laudable. And you can actually sit and study in the library for the time that they have assigned. It's very comfortable that way. There is no restrictions as such. As long as you're doing it for a good purpose, they let you do it. And
of Symbiosis, because everything comes at a cost, right? What's the fees?
yeah, fees is yeah, you have like it's a huge one. So it's around 5 lakh for 2 years.
For 2 years. This is
Yeah.
the tuition fee, or this includes your hostel and everything also?
No, this is just the tuition fee. I mean, including the admission fees that you pay a chunk of in the first year and the tuition fees. So if generally they are paid in 2 installments in first and second year. But because of the pandemic and the UGC guidelines, 2021 had seen every college taking it in 3 installments. That happened with us also. That's what. So yeah, that is one point. Like we do pay them a large amount compared to other places, but they do not. It's like it's not going into waste. They give back more than we do. There are certificate courses that are not directly evaluated, but they are like the special credit courses that you have where you grade it. Just there's no marking, and you have to do them, they be it Austrian economics or some environmental or disaster management thing. So there are other stuff also that we have to do besides our curriculum, and those are mandatory. So yeah, and the practical purpose, that is the best part. Like even if I get, I just get burdened with the pressure that exists in Symbiosis, I keep on going. It's because the way they train us and groom us is excellent. Like I find the practical hands-on training that we should have, which would actually, like our director ma'am always tells that we will bring companies, it's your discretion, you want to sit for them or not, but we'll obviously equip and groom you in a way that you get to hunt your own opportunity, because that is where not everyone is competent enough. Like I was telling about the databases and all, so we have people from those companies, be it SRM, be it CMI, all these places, there are people, and also for other softwares and databases. So we have people from their own companies coming and training us over workshops. And that starts from the first semester itself. So first semester and the first year is very hectic. It goes on very hectic. More than you study, you have to learn other stuff that you didn't know. So like that is very hectic. Given the softwares that we need for in our data analytics, we are in our curriculum taught Excel, R as the main ones, and Python, that also is there, but it is taught more like a module or 3-4 days workshop. Like for the whole week, you're studying that, and you are doing analysis on that. So that is how it happens. For R and Excel and Stata, oh, how can I forget? These are incorporated in the syllabus itself. So for time forecasting, for a time series, we are doing it on R, because that is the best suited one. We are shown it in other softwares wherever possible, but the problem is time series works best on R and Python, not so much on Stata. Like Stata would be, but that would be more like better using it on R. So
we did Stata. Now so much has changed.
Yeah. And Stata, like Excel and Stata are the first ones to be actually explored. I mean, that's always a basic thing you have to get through. For Stata and Excel, even they are incorporated as part of the syllabi. Excel is everywhere. Excel, like obviously it should be everywhere. It's not only the research methodology, like my favorite course, I would say, that you have. It's there in econometrics, it's there in math eco, it's also there in the dissertations and papers that you write for college. It's always there. Stata was mostly there for econometrics, that we did introductory econometrics for the first year. Yeah, and also like for the second semester in the first year, what we had the second module of econometrics, we handled panel data and time series. So we had shifted to R as well. Stata was there for dummy variable and identification, all of that. And then we directly move to R. So it's like they teach us in a way that they show us why in for which application you are using a different software, and why something is better than the other one, because the methods and all that's been done in the software itself. You don't get to know, okay, what the formula is, how it's been run, except the regression, the foundational regression stuff. So it's like, we have to also see why we prefer one software over the other, what are the benefits. So it's done that way. Whatever suits best, they are actually taught. So it goes on like this.
Right. And how did you enjoy studying the courses, like the core courses?
Yeah.
Was it any different from, the way you did studies, let's say in your college? Because you're from a typical
Um,
college. So is it
yeah.
any different? Like how is it, or how is it different?
Yeah. So in our first semester, we studied micro, macro, public economics, yes, and math eco and econometrics. So we were having a faculty from Center for Trade, ICETD at JNU. She was a visiting faculty for micro. Oh, we have good faculties also. Like, it's not only SSC faculties, we have a lot of visiting faculties. Even in semester 2, we had a JNU person teaching us. So it goes on. They bring the, whenever possible, the best resource person who is available for that semester or that duration, be it in-house or someone else. And that's how it goes on. So it's not like you're only studying in Symbiosis, so you'd have Symbiosis people only. That is for every semester, for every specialization also. So we had micro, very extensive. Yes, even if this is not JNU, we really felt like it's JNU, because the way she used to teach was very, very rigorous, like, and very fast. Like, this was the case. If she covered something in a day, we would be like, we would require to go through it, understand, else we would not be able to absorb what she would teach us the next day. It was that rigorous. Micro was really nice. Macro, there's a big shift in macro, I would say. Yeah, obviously we the teachers use presentations and they deliver lectures using the diagrams and graphs that are already there. It's not like you're drawing right now, because I guess for macro in the master's level, you can use the set diagrams that are there. You don't have to draw, because the basics are to be done already in your undergraduate. So it's not like you don't know how supply and demand works, aggregate supply and aggregate demand works. You know how it is, or why the backward bending labor supply is there. So you should know all these. It's now, right now, you have to debate and understand the higher domains. So like that, we obviously had such presentations for our classes. But what I find more engaging is that in undergraduate, it was very much, what do I say? It's like note based. Someone is drawing, someone is, even at EduSure, how we studied the basics. Right now, it's like you're expected to know the basics, and now we will hold a discussion. It's like what happens, in journal discussion, or people who prefer journals over textbooks, and they just give their thoughts, debate, and it's not so much that you have to read and write or draw diagrams. It's more about understanding. So that is there. Macro was like, it required a lot of like being there while the lecture was going on. If you are absent minded, it would be like you would be lost, you don't know how it is happening. Also, the macro course was very chronological. Like, we started with the SKM, obviously, then CKM, we moved to the schools of thought. That is how it went. So till the first semester was over, we did the national income accounting, the SKM, CKM, and a little bit intro into the monetarist school. And from the monetarist school to neoclassical and all other that are there, the new classical, new Keynesians, neo-Keynesians, neoclassicals, all of that followed in the second semester. So second semester was difficult in a way because it was broad and you didn't even leave anything untouched. It was like by the time we completed our first year, everything was taught to us in macro, whatever is there. And that was helpful, but very gritty. You had to be there.
You guys do any practical things there? Like you are doing these different schools of thoughts, I get it. And you're saying that you did a
Yeah,
lot of debating. You also debate on the real world problems and
we do.
uh,
That is how our assignments work. Our evaluation has two schemes. 120 marks comes from the internal assignment and the internal assessment, and the 80 marks is for theory. So that 120 marks is totally application based. Like assignments, like you have to choose a particular country, a particular duration, and study the growth of that economy in that chosen duration and which growth model it followed, like that. Or even like essays, macro had a lot of essays. We were to choose a particular economic uh, incident in the history, be it the crisis or this inflation or stagflation related issues in a particular country over a set period, and analyze it using the schools of thought that we have studied. So it was like I was telling here, it's like, you learn not from the classroom so much as you learn while you're doing such application based investigations. So we did that. Also, there were areas where we were asked, given a particular model assigned to us or a school of thought and told to find out such applications in specific areas, be it education, health, or maybe in a region, how they used it in planning or things like that. So yeah, there was a lot of data handling. There was also a lot of literature that involved and study, because if you don't understand the concepts, you won't be able to actually assess what is happening out there, how it happened. You won't be able to give a comment on that. For public finance, our ma'am, okay, now we had this advantage. She was basically a teacher at SIBM Pune, the Symbiosis Institute of Business Management. Like that is like the, I think of the 3-4 best management schools under Symbiosis, that is one. That is the second or first one. So we had this advantage. She was an energy economist actually. So she has worked in the oil and coal areas under the government of India. Okay, she was also from DU and she did her master's from GIP and PhD later. So she had that real market insight. What is there, how it happens. So being these sectors, being the public sector areas, we got a lot of insights in from her, from the real world scenario, what public finance is. It's not only the goods and all, like how we should cater to them, also the taxation stuff, how it works. So we had that advantage because she was from SIBM Pune. Because I guess the faculty at B schools, the way they approach to lectures, it's very different from what we get. It's very
lectures at
difficult.
all. They,
It's
they are,
right. It's
yeah.
discussion and it's problem solving. It's brainstorming, I would say. And also, yes, there are foundational stuff, but it's not textbook oriented. That's what. So she would always ask us to read papers and journals, not stick to books. She was like, books will always be there, but see what is going on, look around. So that was the thing. For math eco and econometrics, math eco, like even in other colleges, we start from the very basics and it then goes beyond. So we have the a system of equations, all of those coming up next, which we didn't do in undergraduate so much, the homogeneous and other stuff. So it followed. Econometrics was also okay. Like for the first semester, we didn't cover much newer concepts than we already knew. There was the practical applications and the assignments that we were doing more. because the theory part was almost like done in the undergraduate, and now we were just analyzing stuff that was not there so much in the undergraduate. For the second semester, we again had micro, macro, and yes, so econometrics, the second part, growth and development. Okay, and on all these semesters, we have a separate paper for research methodology. That is huge. We have 6 to 7 people teaching us their core areas where they would teach us the best, be it academic writing, be it analysis, be it surveys, questionnaires, panel data analysis, all literature review, research proposal, drafting, all of it. So it was like we had a lot of people who were experts in their best fields and who would actually teach it as the best way possible according to SSC, and we were assigned such people. And the RM paper is 150 marks. It's huge. We had given assignments and yeah, not written assignments. All are like, application based, software based. So that's how it works. For the second semester, we again had a growth and development paper, which was extensive. Again, we had a person from JNU coming. She was from CESP, School of Social, that one, a Center for Social Planning, I guess. Yeah, that comes under SISS, SSS. Yeah, SSS. Yeah, so School of Social Sciences. So she was teaching us. And okay, that was very mathy. Growth and development, again, it had the same micro rigor that we had from a JNU faculty in the first sem, and it was very compact. We almost covered everything that was there in the growth and development portion, and really well. So that was there. For macro, again, the same kind of discussion based understanding followed. Second semester macro was obviously difficult from the first semester one, covered a lot, and it also, made us study more beyond the books that was there, because we were, slowly approaching to the new age schools. So they required an understanding of the economists who had worked recently and what is going on, and also the questions that would arise that, this is not relevant so much now, that all. For econometrics, this time it was all about, time series and panel data analysis mostly, and dummy variables and all they followed. So we had like, we were actually working on the software, then actually doing the model, in paper and pen, or problem solving. That didn't happen. Everything was intuitive, and it was done by using data sets from Kaggle or whatever other online data sets we would actually get, or we want to work on. Maybe the faculty, because all of them are working on research, like everyone, even if they are teaching, so they have their own data sets and stuff that they have collected, real time data from surveys. So they are also assisting us with their resources, and we do actually work on them. So that keeps on happening. For micro, this time the focus, because the chunk was covered already in the first semester, this time we were doing basically the managerial and the organizational industry economics as part of micro more. So there was the behavioral theory of firms, and also game theory. That was a big portion. I was talking about other credit courses. We are not actually graded, like not marked, but they are given grade points. You just have to pass, get a certificate. So we've had such courses in behavioral economics and game theory as of now. But the game theory portion that came under the micro was totally mathy. Like how we know all the duopoly models, oligopoly models, and how they are playing the games as players. So that was all a big chunk of it. And so that was it. For this semester, we had 4 papers and the RM.
I think we got a fairly comprehensive idea about, what.
Yeah, it's a lot of studies. Like it's not like, I mean, there's a lot of pressure, and we do really have to work hard to clear that 120
That's
marks.
actually very good to know. It's good to know that the place is making you work, because ultimately you need to be trained, and then you need to do well.
Yeah, right.
Whatever field is that you choose.
And the classes are also extensive. Like we had 3 to 4 classes of 2 hours each every day. It started in the morning 10 and it would go on till 4, 5. And if it's the worst scenario, we would have till 6, 7. So it would go on. So, and not apart from that, we have all these sessions and workshops that we have to attend for, data software. They are not, the course curriculum doesn't involve them directly. That happens otherwise. So even if we are having our classes, we will not have them in the class hours. So that is another thing we have to cater to. And the webinars, like right now it's the online space, the webinars and the resource people they bring, that's also very enriching. So it's always there.
Nice, actually. Sounds like you're at Harvard or something. You're doing
I don't know that, but yes, it's we are always, alert and we have to be ready.
That's really good. So I think overall it seems like a great experience. You're happy with your post-curricular practical knowledge. It's
Right.
cross-industry knowledge, so you're able to apply
Also the
concepts.
internships that they are making it a mandatory thing, internships. Summer break, you have to intern and you have to send, okay, that holds a 200 marks. So everyone has to intern, make an internship report, research papers, submission, dissertation, and other stuff they follow in the 3rd and 4th semesters or projects. But right now, for after 2nd semester, like during the summer break, before 3rd semester begins, everyone has to intern. And we are always encouraged to not do online internships, the one we get from Internshala or Notice Bard or anything like that. It's like go for internships which are actually relevant to your field, not something that anyone can do. And also go for offline. And if you don't get offline, nothing works, then hybrid. No only sitting at home internships. Because we also have to reflect on how our growth has been, staying somewhere working for 2 months, like that is mandated by college, and the experience. So, going to office, working out in the field, if you're doing field research, that is amazing. So that is something, I would say a big brownie point, because not everyone has such arrangements. They don't get to do these. So I just love it.
It's really nice to hear. It's nice to hear that you pay for something, but then you get the
right
back. You get your results back.
Right.
You feel that you've come out of those 2 years having learned and having enriched.
And the way the groom, like we are like, because of that management brand, we get a lot of benefits. Like I was telling, be it the business etiquette or personal grooming, or a lot of stuff that are not academic, but we are taught. Also, not directly public speaking, but the communications portion, how you making industry connections, and the whole professional grooming that you require, they do it. So by the time you come out, you would feel a lot has changed within you, when like till the time you had entered, a lot of it. And I think that's a big personality boost.
Really nice. That's very good to hear. I'm very happy. Again, all these institutes surprise me because I somehow, kind of delve very deep into them, try to understand
Right.
how they are doing. So when I hear about all these places that our students end up going to, and then they turn out to be so nice, it's very heartening.
And the faculty, like I'm amazed, like this is the concept that goes on, be it SNU or this or Azim Premji, these places, these are private places, but that whole notion that, government places are the best and privates are like you pay and you get in, it's not the case. Like I have people like who are really very meritorious, more meritorious than the government places actually. And the places they're going to, they are working as RBI interns. They are going to NABARD, they're interning there, and they're going to IITs, they're working there. So I'm like, oh my god, we didn't expect this. And the faculty they bring, like that is also commendable. Like until we were there, we wouldn't know who is coming. Like for urban development, because our director ma'am is the chief resource person, she started off with this, like back in 2005 and 6, she realized that India will be the most urbanized state by 2050, and the whole urban mobility and the issues that were coming up, they needed better management. So that was the whole idea of incorporating urban development in our course. It's like a flagship program, and it has a very good name from Symbiosis. And in urban development, nothing is book based. Nothing is absolutely book based. You always doing it on the field. Even for basic assignments, college assignments, you have to go out there, get what is happening. So we have people from NIUA, National Institute of Urban Affairs, MOHUA, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So we have people from there. We had the chairman of NIUA taking a paper. So all of these happen. So we have, industry experts who actually come and groom. And like it is, like if you're coming to SSC, I will never say expect the same theoretical framework that you will have in CU or even DSE, because you from DSE, so they like make it concrete that you learn the concepts really well, and then the application. So here it's like not so much into theoretical framework, but they make you understand and learn from what is going on. So that really helps. I feel both is needed, both are balanced, but yeah, still this is something not everyone gets to experience, I would say.
That's a thing that note to close on, that
Yeah,
practical aspect is not something everybody gets to experience. So that's
right,
really
right. And that I think is important. As you're teaching theory, you should also know what's going on out there.
amazing, Amrita. I think thank you for this completely
My pleasure.
informative session. I think a lot of people would get very convinced about SSC after this.
Oh, we have scholarships also. Like if you're meritorious or you coming from a little bit disadvantaged financial section, you do have scholarships. That
How
is
many
all.
scholarships? Like, do they have a particular number, or is it open to whatever is the requirement?
No, you have that criteria, like based on your annual income and stuff like that. People go and investigate your settings also, so it doesn't just come that way. We also have international summer schools because it's an international university. So we have people going to East European countries, mostly also in China and Japan, and they do their summer schools, Berlin School of Economics, all of that. So it's always there. Either
How
you
does that work? Is it included in their course fee, or you have to pay separately for that?
I think they waive off a part of it. I think the travel costs are to be covered by you, but there's some waiving off that happens. Like almost you don't need to pay as if coming to the international standards. It's like 10, 20,000. And yeah, you have to get through the summer school. So that is also there. It's very immersive. It's immersive.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Amrita, for your time, for sharing all this.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from all these. Yes, I'm definitely it will. Thank you, Amrita. I'll see you soon.
You.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am.